Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 412 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and eastern southeast South Dakota. What's my name? It's Tanner again, of course.
And what's my name again? It's Tommy, of course.
Say my name. Great update. I'm considerably less sick than last week.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
You sounded much healthier, so
I wouldn't say I feel like a cool $1,000,000, but I feel way better than last week at this point. Well, it wasn't even a week ago, was it? We're recording on a Monday night this week, Tommy.
Don't get that
special
every week.
Monday night recording. But yeah, I feel like I got a lot more pep in my step this week than last week. Last week I had to force a little bit of enthusiasm to make sure you didn't have to listen to 2 hours of some guy sounding like he's on a deathbed. So I don't know what it came across as. I was trying to at least trick people into thinking I was.
I had forgotten, because by the end I'm just thinking, Tanner actually feels pretty good. And then when I went back to edit it and it first started up, I thought, whoa, he was not doing good in the beginning.
And that was with me being aware,
I need to step this up a little bit.
Here's some inside baseball. Sometimes when we record the podcast, I'm tired and stuff like that. But I'm very aware that people don't want to listen to a couple of really tired guys almost fall asleep. So even when it's like that, I try to not let it shine through. But last week was a tough one because we were talking way more than tired. I was really actually just feeling like a bag of smashed up assholes, to put it one way. You know what helps me though?
What
Build
is that?
Fast Formula Supplements. It's our supplement sponsor of the Massenomics podcast. I like a lot of things about them. One thing I like is they're also from right here in South Dakota. They're in the Watertown, South Dakota area. They partner up with Chris Duffin, multiple-time guest of the Massenomics podcast, to create Build Fast Formula Supplements. I'm guessing I'll just say this. Every single person that's listening has taken a supplement of some kind at some point in time. Most of you probably even regularly take supplements. So here's my ask of you. If you haven't tried Build Fast Formula, go check it out. It's, they support us, so we appreciate you supporting them. They've got the nitric oxide support supplements, Vaso Blitz. We talk about that a lot. Then they've also got Blitz 3D, or their full Blitz, which would be their caffeinated pre-workout supplements. And then they have their 80-20 protein, which is 80% casein, 20% whey. Delicious flavors on everything. And if you use discount code Massenomics, you will save 10% on anything you order from them, however many times you order it from them. And if you sign up for a subscription from any of them, you get actually another 10% off. You could get 20% off total. BuildFastFormula.com.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
Yeah, Texas Power Bars. We also got a Texas Power Bar special YouTube video coming out. So it's the week that this came out.
Was that one first in the lineup or the next one?
It's the next one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
at the time this comes out, you could have watched our 30-minute Mexico training vlog where you and I are training together at Massenomics Gym. That would have already been out, and then later this week comes out the Texas Power Bars YouTube edition.
Just giving the people what they want. That is,
both of those should be great YouTube videos too.
I think so. The training vlogs, yeah. At that point, this one is out. That is a very different video for us because you've done a few training vlogs, but it's the first one with us together, and the video cracks the 30-minute mark, which pretty damn long for a Massenomics video.
It'd be like a mini podcast in the middle of the week between podcasts. It
basically is, though. We talked about it. It's sort of like podcasting while we're lifting.
Yeah. And then the episode, or I don't know, YouTube isn't episodes, I guess, but the YouTube video that came out this last week that popped out of there was what, the deep dish plates? Was that the most recent one then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be the one.
And I thought that was a pretty fun video, so make sure to check that one out also if you haven't. And yeah, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet too. I mean, if you're listening to this and you listen to almost all of these and you have like a YouTube account, even if you're not going to watch them, you could just go hit the subscribe, and it is one of those vanity.
But also, if you like watching these, listening to these, and you're not watching the YouTube, I don't even follow. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's true. If you're pretty into the Massenomics podcast and you haven't checked out what we're doing on YouTube, you are missing out on like a certain portion of the Massenomics culture for sure.
It's just in a way, it's an extension of this, except we're recording episodes in the Massenomics gym and we're showing off equipment and talking about other lifting things. So check it out.
Do you want a little update on what's it called? True Crime?
True Detective.
True Detective.
You're already.
It might not be a good show.
You're already confirming what my guess was going to be here.
I think
Crime.
have
you ever heard of the show True Crime? They really search engine optimized that name. They called the show True Crime because they knew when people Googled it, they would find the show in a second.
I think you and everyone listening is going to be in for a pretty pleasant surprise here.
Yeah.
Don't let me not even being able to remember the name fool you here. So we did talk about me being sick last week, and
which is prime TV watching time. Unless you're on your deathbed, it's prime TV watching time.
That last week was the first time I watched TV, and I don't know. And I want to preface this. Every time I say this, I want to make sure you understand. Everyone understands. I'm not trying to sound cool when I say I haven't been watching TV. It just has not been fitting. I like to watch TV. It just has not been fitting into the puzzle at all, except for when I was sick and I watched like 3 straight days of TV. So I caught up for the last like 4 months when I haven't watched any.
So you watched Sex in the City, Grey's Anatomy, and then rewatch Band of Brothers.
I didn't rewatch Band of Brothers. I did watch part of Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah, I did see right there on the Discord. Yeah,
and that opening D-Day scene is a gruesome scene. My wife watched it. She's never seen Saving Private Ryan before. And she was like, wow, what is this? And I was like, I mean, she knew what the movie was, but she was just like, wow,
you can know what the movie is. I remember the first time when I watched that in high school. You know it's a war movie, and you're like 15 minutes in, you're thinking, I was not ready for this at all.
Yeah, pretty intense. But so we talked about how I watched all of 1883 in like a day.
Yes.
So then we recorded the podcast, I think, that night, and you told me that I need to watch True Crime.
You got 7 episodes of True Detective. Make it happen.
I'll tell you this, you lied to me off the bat. It's not 7 episodes, it's 8 episodes.
Okay.
So a little bit of a bait and switch there.
So, I did extend the time by close to 10%. So, yeah.
Okay. And I haven't gave anything away here yet. I'm kind of like dragging it along.
Yes. But the fact that you said it's 8 either means you Googled it or you did open it on the HBO app. So it's one of those two.
I knew that it's 8 episodes for that season 1, and here's another thing I'll say before I
spill the cool beans
before I get into the next part. You had said, well, everyone likes true crime, not True Detective. I'm actually trying to use the word correctly
genre,
here.
like the genre.
Yeah, everyone likes the genre, and before I talk about the next thing, I don't know if I actually do like that. I hadn't thought about it at the time, but think about it afterwards, like why I don't watch these shows. And I just think maybe I just actually don't like that genre that much normally.
And it's not I shouldn't have said true crime because it's not a true crime. It's scripted.
Right. Okay. And I just like a lot of times with my, entertainment TV watching. I like lighter entertainment because
I totally
I like a
get that.
departure from like intense murdering and
like thrillers
raping.
of any kind, and then you get done with that and be like, okay, I guess I'll go to bed now.
And like, I'm not saying I have horrific demons in my life, but sometimes I just am like things will make me way in too much mentally on areas that I'm like, I could use a reprieve from that.
I 100% get that. I even go into that. So I'm working my way. I think I told you last week the last season of Succession. And with that, they're talking all these crazy deals, and there's all these politics between the members, and everyone's working their angle, and everyone's backstabbing. And there's even some nights where I think, do I really want to go through that tonight, or do I just want to watch like car YouTube and just watch people just chill and hang out? And that's
yes. So that's part of what, actually, I think that's the deeper message of why I stay away from those, because they make me, make me feel my feelings too much sometimes. Sometimes, like they could, like there's that's there. But all that being said, so we recorded on Wednesday night last week. So Thursday I was still very sick on Thursday still. And I did not do anything that day other than watch TV all day long. Again, I watched a lot of television on Thursday. So it is possible that I could have watched the entire True Detective from front to back.
That would be enough time.
I watched so much TV, I could have done that in one day.
That is entirely possible.
And I did it.
You did
I watched all of True Detective.
In one day?
In one day.
That's actually a lot. I don't even know if I could handle that much in a day. Like, not even...
It was
from a time thing. It's just that first season, there's a lot of ups and downs and emotions to process in one day in that thing.
Yes, I watched the entire, this isn't a point of bragging. It's more just like a testament of how awful I was feeling that day again. But I watched the entire thing, and it was spanned out over legitimately like 12 hours. So I don't know if it was like 8 hours of but
I think it was about that. Yeah.
And I in there, I at times had enough energy to like get up and like make myself some food and do a couple things like that. But I did watch the entire thing.
Okay. So, okay. I guess first thing, as far as you're concerned now, knowing what I know, was it a good recommendation or a bad recommendation?
Yeah. So I'd say it was a good recommendation. True Detective season 1 was good. I liked it,
dude.
I would
Matthew
say
McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Aren't you watching? Like, who are these guys right now? They're killing it.
The reason that's so good to me is Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
This is still blowing like my mind right now. The 80% time is a flat circle thing.
Yeah,
and that's in that show. It's okay.
Yes, yeah. So that it was really good. It was really good. That being said, I have no interest to watch any of the other seasons, and I almost guarantee I will never watch any of the other seasons.
No, don't even bother.
Because why this one was so good, it broke my what I was saying earlier, how I might not actually really like this genre. Well, if Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are going to be in it and it's going to be like really interesting and cool, then like that is an exception to the rule. Like, and I don't trust the casts in the next one that they're going to like wow me like this.
You shouldn't. Do you know who's the cast of the next one?
No, I'm not. I didn't even look into it because like I'm literally never going to watch them. So
it's what's his name? Colin
Farrell.
Is it Colin Farrell? Yes, Colin Farrell. Rachel McAdams,
the phone book movie,
and Vince Vaughn. Those are the three characters in the next one. Yes, that was sort of the joke when the True Detective season 1 came out. They're like, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. You're going to make a thriller with those two. People just weren't believing it, and then they pulled it off. So then it turned into this thing of like, the script writing is so good they can make anyone fit the thing. And then you're like, nope, that didn't work in season 2. Didn't really work in season 3. Season 4, I haven't been able to follow up much, but yeah, season 1, it's exceptional television.
Yeah, it was really good. And I would say, so I'm kind of contradicting myself, but what I'm saying is this one is so good the normal rules I would think to myself don't apply because it just was really good. But otherwise, it just reminded me, even with it being so good, that I'm like, I don't really like really dark stuff that much. And like dark could mean a lot of different things. Like there's definitely stuff darker than this, but I don't really like gloomy
it is, and this one
shit that much.
This one
like,
deals with like serious crime,
right,
some occult elements as well. There's a lot, and then just the characters' own personal demons. They're all deeply flawed themselves.
Yes.
So in a way, it feels like there's no redemption at times. It just feels like everyone's flawed, but it just adds to the story.
Definitely worth watching, though. I'm glad I had watched it, but I'm not going to watch any other ones.
The other thing that they do so well is it's just 8 episodes. That's just it is what it is. It's not this 5-season thing that goes on and on and on. I
even could have had it been like episode less or something.
Yeah, I still think it could be 1 or 2 episodes shorter, and it wouldn't hurt it much. But overall, though, still 8 episodes. They kept it on
what I
task.
would say, I really like the way that was written, though, too, and because how it was you were seeing it through the eyes of the interview. The one, I guess I won't give any spoilers away, but I do just thought the way that the story unfolded was interesting too. Because I wouldn't want to give away any spoilers on that, because that one, it did make you think at times. I was like, okay, wait a second, like what could be possible here? Like
it does. It starts to get you going, because you realize these guys are kind of messed up characters. Like, what are they lying about? What are they hiding? And it keeps going.
Yeah. So I would recommend someone watch it.
I thought for sure.
Yeah.
That was
I knew everyone was going to be
watched.
Everyone was going to be thinking I was going to say I didn't, and I didn't watch any of it. So I thought that would be a fun twist ending to the story.
I thought for sure you had in the Discord. I got an update on this. I'm like, it's going to be this long build up to say Tanner to say he didn't watch it. And
that's what I was really going for.
He watched a show again that he's watched before.
That's what I was going for. And also, like, there's one other flaw in my logic too. I said I don't like deep, dark stuff like that, but what I really like is war movies, and I'm like, why do I like that? Because it's like
that doesn't add up totally.
But I think there's something different to me about killing in war. Is like, and I may literally have been brainwashed to feel differently about, like, it is very possible I am slightly brainwashed to feel different about that. Like, I went through formal brainwashing for this, to tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
So it is very possible that, even though I'm aware of that being the case, that maybe some of that worked to a certain extent, and I'm like, oh yeah, this killing's all right. Like, this isn't
right. Also,
like, I could watch gruesome Saving Private Ryan, and I'm like, that's World War II. Like, that's
I get
what
what
happens.
you're saying. I think the other component of it, though, with the war thing, is it's typically a little clearer who the good and the bad guys are and who you should be rooting for.
That's
and
right.
It's
at least seems clear. Like, a lot of times when you really get down to it, like,
that's what I'm saying. It
what
typically seems clear, because we're living on the other side of history where we can live this life today because of what happened through those things. And so that's what it usually makes it seem a little clear. But even then, a lot of times war movies have these things where, your characters get spotted or stuck in a precarious situation where the rules of war may not go the way they are supposed to go.
Well, and Big Keith in the Discord brings it up. If I'm watching Masters of the Air, I'm not, though. I would be trying to watch that. The only reason I'm not
is that.
It's the new one. It's on Apple TV. It's about, I think, World War II Air Force. I don't know if it's about British airplanes or U.S. or I actually don't know anything about it. All I know is that it's on Apple. I know nothing about it because it's on Apple, and I don't have it.
Here. Yep, Air Force on Apple TV.
Yeah. So I definitely someday would want to watch that.
Seems to be rated fairly highly.
I think it's. Yeah, I think it's really good. I would love. I'm sure I would love it. Like, that's one I already know I like without watching it.
Apple TV's most watched series launch ever, it says. So must be pretty good.
Yeah. And then, I talked really a long time about True Detective, didn't I?
I was just excited. I did not think in a million years you'd be watching that in the next year. I thought there was no way that Tanner will be taking care of this. Because I thought you're.
I took your recommendation.
You'd say I was going to watch it, but I woke up the next day and I felt like $1 million, so it just didn't happen, and that would have been the end of it.
Unless that's actually very possible, like almost that definitely could have happened, and I would have never come back to it because your recommendation was so fresh, and the way I felt on Thursday morning, I'm like, I know I'm going to have a day ahead of me of nothing here. So like, this is the chance that I could watch something in its entirety. And I did make it through it. And I also knew it would be a good story for the podcast.
It was.
Because I actually did it.
People have been waiting for that story for years.
So people can't say I don't take, TV recommendations. It's not always just Band Brothers.
The president of North Dakota will tell you that he's, I don't know if he said, does he say he's from there, grew up in the area where a lot of the, where he's going through, I think it's the part where he's going through the house, with the whole drug scene and all that. I think the president of North Dakota said is it Beaumont? Is that where that was at? I cannot remember. Or is that part of Louisiana? I forget, but it's that far eastern part of Texas.
But I know the president of North Dakota is right around that Louisiana-Texas border, so that makes absolute sense.
He can be like the tour guide if we ever want to, live it.
Yeah. Seems like a nice place to visit, maybe.
All right.
What do we want to talk about? Arnold coming up here? Do we talk about the Arnold a little bit? Or
I think we can
this episode is going to come out the week that we leave for the Arnold.
Yes, the week of, it's Arnold week. It's Arnold week right now.
Yeah.
And you're hearing this. And I don't know, we used to do huge Arnold previews, didn't we? Where we'd go on and on about it. And now we've sort of recorded that episode multiple times and we know a little bit more what to expect. So it's less mystery than there used to be. But I think this year the big question is how many people are going to be there? And the feelers, the feeling, the pulse we're getting is maybe this will be a pretty busy year.
Yeah, and that's also my optimistic take on it.
And maybe we're just lying to ourselves and telling us it's going to be a busy year, but I really do hope.
I really believe that, though. Like, as we sit here and talk about it today, I believe that it will be.
We've looked at, actually, in years past, we've extensively studied the floor plan. We haven't done that, or I guess I haven't done that.
No, I have. I've looked at it. The reason, why I stopped checking that so much is because I overanalyzed that to
and then also,
and I even have this conversation with you that I'm like, I don't even know what to think anymore because it's just like second guessing gut feelings and of what makes more sense.
Also, other years they were doing the thing where they were changing it every single day. It's like, what the hell is our booth number today? And who's biased? Because it was different all the time. It's been pretty consistent this whole time. There's not huge mystery chunks of what's going to fill these. I'm looking right now, and I just see 1, 2.
Yep. So what's our booth number? I guess we could say that.
Oh, yeah. Our booth number is...
We're in the same spot as last year,
yes,
basically.
Our booth number is 205. We are across the aisle one way from Obsidian. We are...
Huck Finn's right next to us.
Across the aisle, and down like one from Huck Finn. I thought...
Live Large is just across.
Live Large is just across from them, too. I mean, we're in the same spot we're always in.
Right.
I did think Buff Chick was always by us, and it looks like maybe they're not by us now.
Okay.
But, yeah, Obsidian, Huck Finn, and Live Large are all right by us, which are good ones. The Marine Corps is also right across from us, so I bet Grant will be stopping by our booth to talk shop with his buddies over there.
Yeah.
Because we know if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't come by our booth, right?
That's true. He's just going to be over there talking Marine stuff all the time.
Yeah, making us feel like losers over here in our booth. But
him and the Tango Charlie guys probably talking veteran-owned business stuff. Yeah, we won't include those guys.
The United States Marine Corps, that's actually a front when we get there. It's actually a Tango Charlie booth.
Tango Charlie.
And they're just there to troll us the whole time. Damn you.
If you're wondering if anything's changed, no, still fuck Tango Charlie and don't buy anything from those sea suckers. Do not purchase anything from Tango Charlie. Maybe that'll be my weekly on advertisement of them. Like we have these sponsors, and then like the anti-advertisement is please do not support Tango Charlie.
Stay away from them. Don't do it.
And it's not reverse psychology. Please do not.
If you click on their stuff, you're going to get spammed with ads nonstop. So do not look at their page. It's terrible.
Yeah. I got the trailer today. The trailer. Tires are looking good.
Because were they fresh tires last year? Were they new last year?
Not last year.
Oh, was it 2 years ago?
It might have been like the first time we took the trailer. Even.
Okay.
I think I got new tires like the first time we ever took it, but they still look really good, and
they've just
still holding up air.
Done a couple of 1,000-mile trips down the interstate is all.
Yep. So the trailer's looking good. I brought in a bunch of totes today, so over the next week I'll be packing, getting the trailer full. The packing always gives me a little anxiety.
Would you say it only gets easier every year?
It doesn't get any easier.
I
wish it got easier.
It's if anything, it's just more stuff. It's just,
Yeah. I wish it did get easier.
Yeah. I believe it.
Like that's something. I wish I could hire someone else to do that part of it, but that part of it is such a
So
hands-on.
mission critical.
There's literally is not something that you could hire someone else to do. I don't even know how that could be.
Yeah, I if you told me you were hiring it to someone else, I mean, I'd trust your judgment, but I would be very anxious about that process.
Yeah.
Unless you were standing there supervising the whole thing.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's, well, what's
So
going
far,
on
all
here?
these years, I don't know if we've ever really been not had much there that we need. I don't know if there's ever been anything very important left behind.
No, not
unless
that
I'm
I
just
know of.
misremembering, but knock on wood.
Yeah, well, you either got T-shirts or you don't, and then you have the checkout terminal, and if that's good, then we're good.
Yeah. So we'll get there and get set up, sell some stuff, and hopefully come back with less stuff than we took.
I sure hope so. We will also be vlogging the whole thing, like always. This weekend is also exciting for me because that is where you had recorded, I believe, 2 or 3 YouTube videos before we left for the Arnold last year. That was when our vlog actually. So this week probably marks a year of YouTube videos, of weekly YouTube releases.
Yeah, probably.
But to me, the Arnold was where it felt like it really started, of like doing this format of going and talking about things and all that.
Right.
So got year 2 on that. We have some hopeful plans to get some fun content with different people while we're there. Maybe a return to form of the old days of Massenomics.
Yeah, well, we haven't done at the Arnold for almost
let's see,
I don't know,
2017,
6 or 7 years. Yeah.
26. Yeah. Yeah. Well, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20.
We have been going to the Arnold for a long time.
Well,
we have made the Arnold trip.
Our first trip was 8 years ago, but then there was the 2 years off for COVID.
Right.
So this would be our 6th one then.
I think
so
our 6th.
We did 2 as media, 1 as a booth. Then COVID hit. That took 2 years, and then this will be our 3rd year back. Yeah, so this will be our 6th one.
Yeah,
that we've attended in some
that
fashion.
is a lot of times going to the Arnold, though.
That
it is becomes a confusing amount of times where I start to really not be able to separate what was when.
It does start to get a little challenging.
Like I can picture where our booth was last year, and I'll forever know. I can perfectly picture the first year in my mind. But how many other years then have we? We had a booth one other year then.
Yeah. So the first year, I remember the first year back, we were. I
don't remember that very well.
Remember, Gold Strong was across from us.
Okay, I remember that now. So we were kind of just on the opposite of where we are last year and this year. But I remember that the least for some reason.
I think it was just long enough ago where it's like the middle one. It just doesn't.
Right.
It's just not quite as exciting. And then also it was the first year after COVID, so things were slower for sure.
Right. But we have a double. We would have had a double booth then, didn't we?
Yep, that was our first double booth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was the Arnold.
So that's it. Do we want to give away what we're possibly doing for a podcast while we're at the Arnold?
Yeah. What are we?
Also, a return to form. We're going to plan on doing a car podcast on
Car talk
on the way home, which will be fun.
We're exclusively nothing but C10 pickup talk.
That's
in the
That's
pickup.
all we're going to talk about. We're taking Tanner's C10 to the Arnold. We're going to really put it to the test.
That would be an interesting trip.
Yeah.
I mean, we very well could make it, but I would just assume not.
Very well could not make it too, though.
Yeah.
The roll of the dice.
That's kind of the roll of the dice with any vehicle, though. Even going that's the thing about a trip.
Not
this
even just
far,
the vehicle. Tires are a major component on a big part like that, and that's just dumb luck.
And as we've talked about the weather, of course,
and the weather.
Good correction,
luckily,
Keith actually said Mary C10. That's actually a very good correction.
Luckily, things have been very nice weather-wise lately, so hopefully that doesn't change anytime soon. The forecast, the 10-day forecast looks pretty good too.
Looks good in Columbus when we're there too. Hopefully, so might not have. I would anticipate seeing nobody babysit any coats while we're there.
I think there's a very real shot at that.
Oh, would you like to hear a little supporting our supporting members?
Oh yeah.
So we've already drawn the line in the sand for this next crew exclusive gift that this mailing that's going out. I don't know as the time of you listen to it if it's been sent or not. We kind of have it We have the preparations made, but I literally just don't know as far as timing of getting it done before we leave. I don't know if it'll get done before we leave for the Arnold or after we get back. So that's to be determined when you get it. But the line in the sand has been drawn, but don't let that discourage you from joining. There'll be a next crew gift at some point in time. And do you really want to take your chances of missing out on that one?
No, you do not.
No. And so supporting our supporting members is we like to give back a little bit each week to those people that support us, support the Massenomics podcast, support everything we do by chipping in just a few bucks a month to the pool, and we really appreciate that. One of the ways we give back is by this segment. So this week we had Big Ryan S. He had a second week in a row of competing. He is part of Arizona bringing home America's Strongest State title.
Ooh.
So congrats, Big Ryan there. And then we had Big Eddie and Big Waffle Iron had a meetup, and they had the Scance twins there with them.
I was jealous. Looked like they were having a lot of fun.
It did look fun with those guys. I would have liked to have been a fly on that wall.
Looked like they had some good eats too.
Yes. Well, I don't think if there's anything Waffle Iron knows about, it's good eats and a lot of it. So he comes prepared. So that looked fun. And then this week on Unpaid and Underrated is Big Joey, although that hasn't actually came out yet as the time we're recording this, so I haven't heard it, but make sure to check out Big Joey, one of the Big Joeys on Unpaid and Underrated. So thank you to all of our supporting members. Like we said, if you support, you can get in on this. You can also get in on our Discord. It's the only way you get in on our exclusive Discord community. It is active every day, almost all day, every day. And then you can listen to our podcast live each week like we have some people doing right now. And a discount code and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't even mention. So just please become a supporting member. Also, I want to tell you about Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut AI, I told you about the supplements, how, if you haven't tried them before, I would give them a shot. Kind of the same thing about Juggernaut AI. It's extremely affordable with our discount code Massenomics, and ends up being about $30 a month. So right now, if you're maybe you've got coaching that you're been treading water with for a long time and you haven't been making any progress, here's what I tell you: if you're making progress with whatever you're doing, I would just keep doing that. I don't even want you to switch. That being said, also, if you're using Juggernaut AI right now and you're making progress, don't switch off of it. Keep doing it. If you're, like that, I want to tell everyone that about whatever they're doing for training. If you're making good progress, stay the course. But maybe if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you haven't been making progress for a while, you want to try something different, definitely check out Juggernaut AI. You can find them at juggernautai.app. It's a really comprehensive app that you'll find, and you can even download the free trial and just try it out a little bit. You'll see all the info you put in to, put in your strengths and weaknesses, your weak points and lifts, your strong points and lifts, and it'll start to kick out this almost like a formula that changes daily, or even changes within your workout each day of what will lead you towards your peaking block, or like a testing day or a powerlifting meet. So check it out. Discount code Massenomics, juggernautai.app.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Bearfoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Bearfoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.store to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.store. Code Massenomics is going to save you 10%. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Our guest isn't here yet, is he, by chance?
Let me double check here. Negative. I'm just looking at this map here, Tanner.
Yeah.
It just looks so much fuller to me than these last few years. Maybe I'm just being hopeful. Maybe I'm wrong. And
that's got to be a good sign, though,
I know
right?
In the past, I could type in, because they have it's like arnold24.mapyourshow.com.
Right.
And in the past, I could do like Arnold 23, Arnold 22, change out the year, and I could get the old map to pull up. and I'm not getting it. It's not doing that for me. So maybe they took them down. I don't know, but I'd love to compare it to something because it does seem that it's just a really happening place.
Do we want to talk about any of the Arnold, the new Arnold merch that's going to be unveiled at the Arnold, or does that get unveiled at the Arnold?
We actually have someone. No, okay, I was gonna say we had someone appear. It was a very odd name.
Okay,
So I don't think it was our guest because I think it was in there earlier. So yeah, I guess we could talk about it now, right?
Yeah, I guess there's just a few live listeners here that would get the early jump on some of that info, but I suppose they're not most of the people. Or do we want to? Or does it need to be a surprise, like no cat's out of the bag?
I don't know. Maybe we could explain a couple of the things. I mean, we got a lot of exclusives, so I don't know.
Yeah. I'm up in the air on that.
We'll give him one. We'll give him maybe one. Just one.
Okay.
Now we got to decide what one though. This could take a while.
Yeah. What about I'll say this, there's going to be a new T-shirt that is weight is a number, heavy is a feeling, but it's different than the black one that we used to have, and it's not just on a different color, it's an altogether different tee, revolving around weight is a number, heavy is a feeling. So that'll be a new Arnold original drop there.
Do we want to say how many Arnold items we have that are?
Yeah, we've got that tee. We've actually got another tee because there's one in military green.
That's right. Okay, yeah. There. So we have some items that we're refreshing them, and so the Arnold will be. It's not. There's a couple things that are not brand new designs, but we've never put them, or it'll be a different blank. We'll say.
Yeah,
different blank that it's going on. So a few of them are getting refreshed. We might have one thing coming back out of the vault for this occasion.
For an Arnold-like occasion.
And then, God, it's been so long. I'm actually having trouble remembering what's all in the drop even, or what's all in what we're bringing with us.
Well, we've got the sticker.
The sticker, of course, the sticker, yes.
Let me see if I've got the sticker.
Cannot forget the sticker.
We could show everyone the sticker. I do have the sticker handy, actually. Is that coming across?
For the webcam, you're a touch. There you go. You're a touch too low now. Touch too high now. Okay, for the webcam, you got that. But yeah, maybe for the other camera.
Yeah, it's coming across the other one though. It's the I survived the Arnold bathroom. So this is it for all you true survivors out there. I'm a survivor. I survived the Arnold bathrooms, exclusive to the Arnold 2024. Are you familiar with this term or not? I wrote this down because I heard it on something that sounded a little bit hokey in a way, but something about it in particular sounded a little bit familiar to me, where they said othering versus us-ing.
Okay, you wrote this in here, and I had no idea. I saw that, and I looked at it. I tried to make sense of it. I had no idea what this is about.
I'll completely bastardize this because this is some sort of other principle that that I don't even know. But here was my takeaway from it. If you got a group of people, some of them will almost describe or designate themselves via othering, where they say, here's what other people are, and we don't like that, so here's what we're the opposite of that. Like they almost describe themselves by worrying so much about what other people are doing or aren't doing that like we're united because we're not what those people are.
Yeah, like they're more identifying a bad guy, and then there's the good guys.
Right.
Okay.
And I guess the opposite of that would just be using, where you're like, we don't really care what anyone else has going on. This is just the stuff that we think is cool, and we relate on that because we all think this is cool. Like it's not really relevant to us what other people are doing because we just like this stuff.
Yeah,
and like,
yes, conceptually I'm following you so far. So is this, but where did this come from? Like, is this a thing that's popular now, or what's?
Yeah, I think if you look up othering, you'll find that I don't know what it comes from, or I can't even remember where I heard it, but the only part of it that really stuck out to me is the way that I heard someone explain the ussing. I was like, that sounds a lot like Massenomics, how it's like we're not really revolved around like worrying about
what other people are doing. It's just
right.
just doing
It's just like, no, we just like this. And like when I say Massenomics, I mean the greater Massenomics, as in like the supporting members, the followers, the community. That just reminded me of the Massenomics community in a positive way, where it's built much more around ussing than it is around othering. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if I'm describing those terms in the same way that
I think you kind of are a little bit, because I just typed it in here because I'd never heard of this term, and a bunch of things come up, and a lot of them are along psychology and things like that. And the concept of othering is pretty much the same as demonstrating the in-group out-group effect. And so it's like, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, we're doing it right, they're doing it wrong. Yeah, and anytime you start thinking like that, oh man, you're like going down a bad path.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like a lot of Massenomics are. On occasion, we have an evil enemy.
Well, just when people are wrong and evil, yes.
Yeah, Tango Charlie apparel would be a case of othering, where like, yeah, let's all band together because F those guys. But seriously, F those guys. But most of the time, most of what it's actually built around isn't that. It's built around being like, oh yeah, we think all this stuff is fun.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. It's and just look at the Massenomics Discord as a great example. You got people doing all different types of training methodologies. You got people competing in different types of strength sports, different types of activities, even for that matter. And everyone's like, damn, that's cool, man. And like, congratulatory towards them and supportive of them. It's a very, hey, as long as everyone's having a good time and keeping it real, we like it here. That's
yes.
That is where that's our othering. Are you keeping it real and having fun? Then you're in. And if you're not, you're the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. So that was ussing and othering.
Well, I feel very enlightened now. My psychology lesson for the day.
I didn't even know what that. I can't remember what I heard that on. I don't know. It's probably on some other podcast or something like that other people have listened to. But
one of those other podcasts.
Yeah, I just my point is I want to emphasize that's not an original idea. I just heard someone else talking about it, and I just saw some parallels in my mind.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
No guest yet?
No guest yet.
Okay. Do we talk about influencers running businesses? This has been on our topic list for a little while.
Here, we'll do one more quick one. One because someone, I had made a comment a while ago. I think it was when I first started going to this new gym. I had mentioned that there's a decline bench, and you'd made the comment of that is almost a waste of space. Like that is the least. Yeah. There's almost no reason to have a decline bench in the gym unless you just have an abundance of space. Because why do you need to take up that space for a decline bench? And I think it was in the Discord, someone made the comment that no one under the age of 45 uses a decline bench. Like I could have swore, I could be wrong. I could have swore someone made that comment, and I thought it was really funny just because it seems so dumb. And I got to say, I hope I'm not imagining. I hope that was actually in there. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone under the age of 45 use the decline bench. There's something about being masters that makes you want to use the decline bench. And I don't know what that is. And I don't see these people that are using it, because I've seen enough people use it multiple times now. I've never seen them use a regular bench or the incline bench, just the decline bench. There's a certain group of people that love the decline bench, and they tend to fit that master's mold. I don't know if there's more to that or not, but if someone did say that in the Discord, I got to give you props. You recognize a trend, and I can verify that I've seen that in my own experience as well.
Have you ever been tempted to just hop on there and be like, what is this even?
I have not even been. Actually, for a second the other day, I thought all these guys are doing it. They go and put like a plate on it, and then they do the decline bench. Is it significantally easier? I don't know. Right? That's the reason people do it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is easier.
Because you just cut the range of motion even more.
Right. Right.
So actually, from that aspect, I wouldn't mind just seeing what does it feel like. All the benches are right there. I'd love to put a plate on incline, decline, and the flat bench and just see what does this feel like on all three of them. And I think Big Keith is pulling up screenshots. Can't confirm, yeah. So, but
the other interesting thing to me when I think about decline benching now, you're kind of by default almost always like it's like a Larson press, like because your feet aren't on the ground, so you never would have like tightness or leg drive. Would you?
But a lot of them. Does every decline bench have the little leg hooks in there? Because you can.
That's what I'm picturing in my head.
That's every decline bench I picture has somewhere for you to put your legs in. So it's
right.
That to me is even a little different.
But
than
like, how would
press.
your upper body be tight? Like, I think of the way I set up on a bench press.
True.
And
yeah.
like,
actually,
you're like,
that is funny to think about because the first thing I was thinking about is getting my shoulders set on the bench, and I don't know.
And on this, you're
on a
like
decline. I guess if I start thinking of it that way, all of a sudden my idea of my bar path is like touching my belly button. It feels like in my head.
Right.
I might have to go do one next week. Just tomorrow. I'm going to the gym tomorrow again. I might have to go to do a decline day tomorrow. See what that's like.
Listeners, if you're avid decline benchers, let us know why we're wrong about the decline bench. Why
have we? Not that it's the end all be all, but is decline bench an option in Juggernaut? Even do you know?
I don't know that it is by default.
I don't think I've ever seen it pop up.
I mean, I don't see anyone doing it. Not Juggernaut users, but just anyone ever.
I have not either. Well, I have some guys over the age of 45 at the gym I go to use decline bench, but that's it.
Yeah. Decline. Oh, no guest. I did text him and I haven't heard anything from him here. So now I'm starting to wonder if we need to audible.
No, I'll audible into this. I will say, and I'm knocking on wood as we speak, but training has just been going good for me lately. I'm feeling pretty fresh about things, and I'm gonna getting excited for how these next couple months could go.
It must have been all uphill since that Massenomics training vlog that we did.
Oh, you could say uphill in work, but downhill in
right. Uphill in uphill like in
the quality of work.
I don't even know. Does uphill even make sense in the way that I said that? Like, you knew that I meant a positive, but I don't know if uphill. It's all been good.
You could say we're firing on all cylinders ever since I went to Massenomics. There we go. Change the metaphor.
Yeah.
It's like the hills
firing on all cylinders. Yeah. It's good. That's better.
It has been. It's been things have been moving good, and I think I had mentioned I don't know if it was on here, for sure in our training vlog we have coming out, that I had been off Juggernaut for a little while. I still basically do the exact lifts that are in there. I'm just, instead of whatever programming Juggernaut has, I'm just taking some linear progression here for a little bit. And it's been going really good. Every week I think, man, this is getting harder. And then the next week I'm like, no, it's actually not getting harder. And then I just keep going through that cycle. So it'd be interesting to see where the next couple months could go, assuming I stay healthy here.
Yeah. So does your back feel good?
Back feels as good as it ever has. If it wasn't for my hip, I'd say I feel like $1 million right now.
Yeah. And is your hip hurting you very much, or?
No, because now I squat even narrower. My squat is just such a far cry from what I would like it to be.
Right.
Actually, someone in the gym came over today and they go, wow, you sure squat narrow for being taller. And I'm like, trust me, I don't want to be doing high bar. I don't want to be squatting narrow like this. I don't want to be doing any of this, but I'm just falling apart. And this is my way of running from the injuries.
Right.
But that's where I'm at right now. And somehow I've got it to the point where that actually almost feels good in my head. So it's not what I want it to be, but it's managing to work for what it is.
Oh, I can relate to that statement.
For me, squat, nothing felt better than a low bar squat with a fairly wide stance. Oh, I could just attack the hole, bounce right out of there. And I know if I did that right now and I hit the bottom, I think I would just get pinned down. I think my hip would just give out and I'd be stuck, and then I'd be in severe back pain.
That's So could you see yourself possibly doing a powerlifting meetup?
If one were to pop up, pop up in I don't know, like maybe the summer or something, and it was at a convenient location.
If it was a convenient one,
something like that, then I could maybe see myself wanting to do it. But like something like that would have to happen,
Right. We'd have to,
those things just don't come out of nowhere.
If you had a way to get in on it, then still too, you got to be able to get in on it.
Oh, that just reminded me. I have another funny story about Massenomics. I went to one of the children in my son's daycare had a birthday this weekend. So, they send birthday invites to the kids in the daycare. And so we go, is at this place in town where kids can play. And the first person I see when I walk in the door,
I hate those kind of places.
They're the worst. the first person I see when I walk in the door is, I'll tell you off air, but this guy from Aberdeen that we both know from back in the day. Okay, Zoom, I'm actually seeing right now, there's someone in Zoom named Macho Man, and I can't decide if that would be our guy or not.
Hey, is anyone Macho Man?
Because that would totally be a Massenomics person's name, but I could also see it being TD Smash.
Yeah, and I did text him and asked him, "Hey, are you going to be out?" And he hasn't responded via text. So
maybe I'll just let him in, and I can just boot everyone else.
I'm guessing it's not, but maybe it is.
But anyway, so I go to this birthday party, and first person I see is someone from Aberdeen that I hadn't seen in a long time. Had no idea that they were a cousin to one of the people there, so I caught up with this guy for a while, and then. So I'm talking with some of the other parents, and there's been enough daycare things that I know a bunch of them, and so we're talking about things catching up. And there was one guy there I didn't know, and eventually comes over to me. I had a Massenomics sweatshirt on, and he goes, "Oh, so do you power lift?" And I'm like, "Well, it's been a while." He goes, I saw the Massenomics sweatshirt. I see those guys' stuff all over. It's been a while. It's been a while. He goes, "Yeah, I see their stuff all over." And I'm like, "Oh, well, it's my company."
You said my stuff, bitch.
I go, "It's my company." He goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, it's me and a business partner. We run it." And he goes, "Oh, I thought they were like, somewhere else in the country. I thought it was like a nationwide thing. I just see the stuff all over."
You're like, "It is."
Yes, I had to explain that. But so we had this guy actually owns a gym in town somewhere, and he had to give us some compliments. He goes, I got to give you credit. Every time I go to a powerlifting meet in the area or some type of strength event or something, I always see people with Massenomics stuff on. And I thought you guys were like this huge national brand. I didn't realize it was something out of here. So good job on that. So kind of a cool chance interaction.
So I don't know this guy though.
You do not know this guy. No, not this guy.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a funny thing. So what were you wearing that he spotted?
I had the camo hoodie on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he recognized that enough to say, "Oh, you're into lifting?"
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what his takeaway was. Is he saw Massenomics and he recognized that there's a lot of lifters that wear Massenomics stuff, and so he thought, "Oh, well, I'll talk to you about lifting as well."
You know what's that is an interesting story. That can't happen in Aberdeen, but it could happen in Sioux Falls.
You'd have to be in a very, very odd spot to to know what Massenomics is, but not know that it's in Aberdeen.
Right. Oh shoot, something escaped me. What was I alluding to there?
That not happening in Aberdeen, someone recognizing your clothing.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Nope, it's gone.
Oh man. Okay, now the podcast is ruined. We were going so good.
No, there was something I was really excited about bringing up, and it's gone.
Chance encounters. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Daycare. Talking to parents.
Well, those are all things I do, but it's not. None of that's refreshing me. But no. Well, I don't know if TD's gonna show up.
He seems to have missed the show. It started without him.
Should we just assume he's not going to and just talk about a few more things?
I would say probably at this point,
yeah,
it's easier just to run along with things.
Okay, so it's trickier.
He's going to get an earful at the Arnold when we see him.
That's true. It's trickier recording a podcast when you're constantly thinking in the back of your mind.
Oh, it is.
Okay, I need to do something that lasts like 3 minutes, but not something that lasts 6 minutes.
I know. So by that metric, I need to crack a cold, and I'm getting very parched over here.
Actually, I'm very thirsty. What do you got over there?
Oh, this is a Waterloo blackberry lemonade.
I got a little something special here. I think you're going to like this.
Don't tell me limoncello.
If you like True Crime, the television series, you're going to really like...
We're using the wrong words there. It's not true crime. It's just a thriller because the very nature of true crime means it is a true crime, and there's nothing about True Detective that is a true crime. You could say Private Ryan is closer to the true crime genre than True Detective is.
That's I kind of like that. I'm sold on calling
where
it.
Everything's true crime. I don't think I told you about this. Actually, this does fall under true crime. We
just like True Detective.
Well, except that it's true and it is crime. So yeah, if you besides
True
that,
Detective was crime based for sure.
Crime, yeah, it was not true though, other than the fact that it had true in their name. But we about a month ago, we went on a little road trip. A lot of times we try to find a true crime podcast to listen to. Listened to one, got a couple hours in, didn't have time to finish it, so I was finishing it on my own. Typically, I don't listen to podcasts like that unless I'm in a car. I don't like go on walk. But anyways, I wanted to hear the end of this one. So here I am. I kind of live on the edge of town. It's very dark and secluded over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like taking the dog on walks, and it's like these nights it's all foggy and weird, and I'm listening to these true crime podcasts, and they're describing these crimes happening at night and these things of like people seeing the guy witness something in a window, and I'm just like, never in my life had walking the dog, am I like looking over my shoulder constantly, feeling so on edge. And I came in and I told my wife, I go, I was listening to that on the walk, and to be honest, I haven't felt scared like that in a long time. And she goes, why would you listen to a podcast like that at night on a walk? And after that, I decided, that's not in the cards for me anymore. Just get this weird paranoid feeling all the time. So I had to stop that.
That could definitely have the possibility of freaking me out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt.
Like just like a block from my house, it turns into there's this huge ravine and a gravel road, and it gets very, you're out of the city.
That'd be a great place to hide a body.
It totally would be. It's out of there, and so I was on edge, but podcast is done. I finished that one, so I don't got to worry about that anymore.
You know what? One thing bothered me about True Detective that was really throwing me off, and this spoils nothing. No, you know what I really liked in what was the year when they first, was it 93 or whatever?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Say it's in 93, that sweet red Ford that Matthew McConaughey drove. I don't know if you remember it. It was like, I'd say it was a 93 Ford. I don't know if it was a quad. I think it was an extended cab 93 Ford.
A truck,
I don't know.
actually.
Yeah.
This is funny. I typed in right now, True Detective Ford F-250 driven by Matthew McConaughey being auctioned. Was it his? Was the Matthew McConaughey one, or was it a different one?
Well, the actor was driving it in the show.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey though, or
yeah, no, it was Matthew McConaughey's vehicle in the show.
Yeah, I see the picture of it right here.
It's red.
It actually, in case you want to know, it was listed as fair condition with 153,000 miles on it, a manual transmission. And the bidding hit $12,500 before it went to live auction. It said, so
and it was a 3/4 ton.
Yes,
that
it
was
was
an extended cab 3/4 ton.
Yep.
It was sweet, but then it threw me off because this is a show that changes time frames. And he's still driving that same freaking vehicle like 10 years later, and then 20 years later again too. I'm like, he never changed his vehicle
but
like
also,
for 20
he didn't
years.
Really change either though.
Right.
He sort of climbed into a hole and grew his hair out and disappeared from society.
It was the most unrealistic part of the whole show to me though, because I almost don't know anyone that drives the same vehicle for that long.
I could see how. Yeah, you just switch it out give him instead of a 93, give him a 98 Ford pickup, just one that's a different color, so you can clearly tell that the times have changed.
And then I find myself, I get invested in the show. Because when I watch things that are like made in a different date, and I notice the vehicle like that, then I'm looking at every vehicle and I'm like, is that a 93? That looks like a 95.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I swear to God, that's a 95. And also it looks old. I'm like, why does that brand new vehiel, like that vehicle that hadn't been made until that year,
it just came
off
it looks beat to shit with like rusty paint.
Yeah. I'm like, and I start noticing that, and I'm sure nobody else could care less about it, but I find myself starting to look specifically look for that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Ford didn't have that body style until 97.
See, I don't know my Ford. I don't know my 90s Fords
I'm just making stuff up at that point, but
that is funny though.
Yeah. Now, since we definitely have time, it'd be talking about the influencers running businesses thing.
Yeah, we've had this on the list for a long time.
Yeah, this has been a topic on the list for weeks, and I don't know, it dates back to some other stuff that we talked about on the podcast a while back. And
doesn't everything date back to something we talked about on the podcast a while back?
That's true. By the time you get to 412 episodes, everything's kind of like that.
You could say time is a flat circle even, couldn't you?
Time is a flat circle. Time is a flat circle. But I don't even remember my original points on this topic almost, but
I just remember we had a conversation, and I think I really started ranting one
Yes.
day to you about it, and then I saw you put it on here shortly after.
well, and there is something. Now, this isn't. Wouldn't even say it is the rule, because there's always exceptions and there's always differences. But being in the industry, and I'm not going to name names specifically, but what I've noticed,
we're not saying this to knock anyone. We're just saying
No.
we've recognized some patterns over time.
Yeah, right. And we absolutely have recognized patterns. There's been a lot of anecdotes that have repeated this similar behavior. And what it runs into is a lot of people that what you might use the word as influencer sometimes, like someone that you'd like, what is it that person does? And you're like, I'm not sure. I guess they're like an influencer.
And when we say
Like
influencer, we're talking about people with, I don't know, like as 5 to 10,000 followers even.
Right.
Like they just have,
right.
Which in the scheme of things isn't a ton of followers, but also when you start getting into different niches, like 5 to 10 can make you noteworthy, within that group.
And it could ramp up from there. Like there could be
definitely.
people in this category that have a lot more than that.
It could be people with a million
it could-
followers. Like that
Right.
exists too.
Right. But what we just see a lot of people of, and we see it when I say that, I say by the proof being in the pudding, by seeing what happens to some of these businesses, but them running businesses and, people are able to do a really good job of making things look good on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
While that's just a mask or a front or a facade for what's really going on. And the reason I know that that's what's really going on, because you can only put that facade on for so long until eventually
and also you just got to do
shit
math.
hits the fan.
Like,
Right.
You look at what stuff
Yes.
costs and you start doing math in your head and you think, damn, these numbers don't add up.
Here, less ambiguous example of this. Just like I see a really cool gym that's a very popular gym run by a bunch of influencers, and I think, damn, that thing looks crazy. And then I'm like, what do the dollars and cents work on that? Because I'm doing the rough math. They have like $350,000 equipment easily, and probably a lease that they're paying $4,000 a month without a doubt.
I'd be shocked if it's
Maybe
even,
$7,000
Yes,
a month.
I don't
Right.
think $7,000 to $10,000 is crazy for a lease
Right.
in the major metropolitan area.
And I'm like, okay, even if you're getting on average $100 a month membership from people, you start running the numbers on what actually do you have to make if you're especially then you talk about interest rates, if they had to borrow a lot of money to finance that level of equipment, stuff like this. And I'm just like, I don't get how it works. And then I'm like, well, that's all right. I guess I don't have to get how everything works. Some stuff just works, and I don't see the whole picture, and I don't understand. And then you find out it's not working. And I think, yep, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it wasn't working. After I'd convinced myself, I'm wrong. Like, I don't know
There's
everything.
things I just don't get. Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't have to get everything. But like, this is a thing that hits home to me that I kind of understand because we do it ourselves. I run a gym and I kind of know I'm not saying ins and outs where I know everything. I'm saying I literally understand the money ins and outs. Like I understand the costs, the revenues, etc. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me. I just don't know how it could make sense. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like in aware that it's jealousy, kind of like you start to be jealous. You're like, I'm a little jealous of that. Like that's.
How are they making this math equation work? And I can't figure that out.
I'm jealous of what they got there. And then when it was a house of cards and it crumbles, you think, aha,
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of one anecdotal example of what I was getting to, and trying not to be too ambiguous, but yet not throw a bunch of people under the bus, because I'm not bringing it up to throw people under the bus per se. Just that it's a pattern that we've noticed, right?
Yes.
Like, especially over the years, over like the 8 years of doing this, like some of that stuff has come and gone so many times that we've seen that same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that when we were talking about this offline was, I feel like something I've noticed is when someone's running a business, the more an influencer has to have their face on the front of everything, like the business can't be the star of the show. It always has to be the influencer. You start to wonder, like, oh, does the business not actually have enough weight on its own? Like, have you not built a brand where the business is sustainable? Like, the only way that this business can market, make sales, and attract new people is purely through attaching your name to it at all times. And that if you're a huge influencer, that you can run a business that way. Like, that is possible. But when you're like, I don't know, 50,000 or less in followers, like, your name, it's really hard to actually convert that into real customers and in a significant, meaningful way to run a sustainable business.
Right.
And so, one of those patterns again, if you have to attach your influencer name to it constantly, then maybe it's not, then maybe the business doesn't have enough merit on its own to run. That's something else we've noticed. And then the other one that we've talked about a lot is when things start going bad, you can be certain that an influencer run business everything will
fingers
get aired
are getting
online.
Pointed. Yeah.
And what's the beauty of when fingers
People
get
are
pointed,
getting dug through the mud for absolutely.
Yes. It's always, but it's like no one can ever really totally say what wrong. But when the accusing happens, the accuser, the person making the accusations, they're pointing the finger at someone. They are the reason the business is failing and it doesn't work. But also the person accusing, they can't take any responsibility for what happened either, which is also,
right.
I mean, you're a business owner too, aren't you? You're part of the business. Like, if it's failing, it's also partly your fault. You can't totally blame the other person always.
Yeah.
And so you'll start to see that. And then you'll also see parties that don't want to say anything because maybe they're being more mature about it and they don't want to go there. Or maybe legally they can't say anything. So then usually the loudest person online, people start to just side with that person because they're the loudest one. And it's like, no, again, you don't know the full story.
My head goes the opposite. I think exactly what you said. Like, the people that are, when the shit hits the fan, the people that are being the most quiet about it, I'm like, that person's probably the most responsible in this scenario. Mm-hmm. I just have a feeling that they're, when I say all of this, there's exceptions to all the rules and stuff like that.
There is.
That's my
but
initial
these are patterns that happen a lot, though. We have seen it time and time again. Influencers start a business. You see them like pump a lot of money into it, and you think, how is that actually working? And then either or you just don't understand the logistics of how their business is running, and then you hear examples of terrible customer service, terrible fulfillment, terrible lead times, things like that, which is bad business.
Yeah.
Or then eventually things don't seem to add up. Then it starts falling apart. Then all of a sudden the breakup goes online of this
that
isn't
breakup
working.
is such a common thing.
Yep. And it has to be this weird, big, long formal thing. And then it's like, it's his fault that this happened, and this person's fault is this happened, and all these things go on, and it's happened a bunch. It'll happen some more, and we'll be here to witness all of them, I guess.
Yeah. Now that being said, there are some influencers out there that I have no doubt are absolutely just crushing it.
Yeah, and
like that are doing
because they are business people. Like,
yes,
you can
exactly. They have taught themselves, at least at the very least, to be a business person.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Like business people can be influencers. Not all influencers can be business people. Is the thing there? And if you're a business person first, all right, you've probably used that to your advantage to build an audience, and then you've also used that to your advantage to build customers and all of that. But a lot of people accidentally become, and I'm using the term very loosely here, accidentally become influencers, whereas for whatever reason, a few people started following them online and a few more people. And it might just be they were the first to the platform, and so people started following them just because they were first, not by any other merit. And then they kind of fall into a business because they have a audience built up, and they quickly find out that they don't know anything about actually providing a quality product, a quality service, customer service, following through with anything they said, and that's where things start to fall apart in a hurry.
And I even brought this up. Maybe it's not apples to apples in every one of the scenarios, but even Massenomics, we went through a point in time. At one point in time, we were a 4-person owned company.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it was 3. And then when we went from 3 to 2, we had gained a certain level of popularity where we had like definitely an audience at that point in time. And you wouldn't have found anything online from anyone involved negative towards anyone else involved.
Yeah.
There wasn't a thing you could have found online about that. And to this day, there's not. And I'm not saying there was like huge negative stuff, but what I would say is like anytime there's changes like that, there's a lot of opportunity for negative stuff to be stirred up. And like, I think it says a little bit something about how we're able to handle those situations in a ultimately professional matter, that there was no need for any finger pointing or like I said, you just wouldn't have, you couldn't or wouldn't have found anything negative said from any side involved in those I don't know, in those when we had to go separate ways and stuff like that.
That
like
also that verifies another thing of it was. And again, I'm using this term loosely too. It was mature adults that were partaking in a business, so they understand how things work. Whereas a lot of these people that are doing things, they're not mature people. They are still living like college kids and have the mentality of college kids. And
it's
so
not
they
necessarily
take
just an age.
Yeah, it's an actual maturity thing. And, it's everything is a. Some people, everything is a personal slight against them, and other people, this is how business works. And we've seen people. We've interacted with people that have, to me, things that I would find deeply offensive, and people have said, "No, that's just how business goes." And I think, damn, you know how to really turn the other cheek, because that would bug me. But you're the person that says, "Nope, that's just how business works." And I think, man, that is a level of maturity or stoicism that I don't have, where you can just step back and be like, "Nope, that's just the way of the world, man." That's like a level of zen there.
I would like to achieve that better. Like if that's a power I would like, it was to be able to let things roll off more easily sometimes.
Dude. So the first hack there is don't have an employer, because you're in control of your destiny a lot more. But every once in a while I see something come up where I kind of almost get pulled into like an employer situation, where I'm working and I think, oh my God, I remember why I hated office work. You have this weird power structure built in place. That's part merit, part seniority, part just whatever. And then you kind of have to honor that, and you have to know your spot in the totem pole, and you're like obeying, or it's such a weird thing business is. So where it's just the relationship. It's the relationship part. It's crazy.
It is weird, and that does highlight how nice it is to have like a nimble, like nimble's just there's funny business words that like make negative things sound more positive, but like a small business like Massenomics,
a fast-paced business work environment.
But a little business,
this fast-paced podcast studio, I think you can keep up.
But where we just decide to do whatever we want, it's obvious we just do what makes sense. Like there's no red tape. There's no.
We don't need to run it through marketing. Who needs to run it by HR? Who needs to run it back through sales? Who needs to run it back through accounting to make sure it fits in the budget? We
just have to be like, is decision A smart or not smart?
And then, then does this cost money? Does the money we're going to spend make sense?
We did buy a little new equipment for the Arnold trip, some new different audio toys that we'll get to mess around with.
We did. Actually, I got a new camera too, so that's another exciting piece. No one will probably really even notice. But, actually, the videos will be in 4K now, so people got 4K to look forward to.
That's way better than 3K.
HD just wasn't doing it. 4K, now we're really getting in people's faces. But yeah, the bigger, I don't even know if they will notice the sound. We updated some microphones.
No, you don't actually notice it. It just makes our lives better.
It does. That is,
the quality isn't any better.
No.
Really, right?
It's everything is diminishing returns now at this point.
Right.
After you spend a few $1,000s and you're in the game, you can spend a few thousand more and then just be like, maybe I made life easier. Nothing actually changed. I just might have made my life easier.
Oh, I kept thinking, why are all these people in the live chat and nobody's saying anything? And for some reason,
you were on the wrong channel.
No, I was in the right channel, but it just wasn't like updating
down.
Along. Mm-hmm. So now I have no idea what all the people were saying about all of our conversation.
I think some other people maybe thought we were talking about particular people when we really weren't for the most part.
No, someone said Tom Finn. I actually have a lot of respect.
He 100%. We talk about all the time. He does an incredible job. He totally gets what his job is like a master marketer.
Absolutely.
Whether he wants to admit that or not, he's incredible at marketing his brand, and they do. And then him and Karen, they have a great relationship. They figured it out perfectly how to keep that running.
I think he's even a little smarter at it than he even understands. That
for sure. Yes, he knows what it takes to make things work. Like you don't get there. You can. have a flash in the pan accidentally, but the fact that he's managed to keep people entertained in an audience for years, that's not an accident. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And like I think someone said Bradley Martin when we were talking about gyms. To me, Bradley Martin is the type of guy that he's so big that a lot of these rules don't even apply to him. His name is enormous.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was just more like I'm like, oh, good, people are talking here. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, Spreads, nobody has had a single comment on anything we've had to say.
Does anyone find this entertaining?
It's like a stand-up comic, I imagine, when they can't see the room and they, they
realize
don't know
one's watching them.
Yeah. I have now not got a haircut for 4 years.
Oh.
Like officially it's been over 4 years. And I've run into a bit of a problem. It's working on the pickup, laying around on. First of all, I just had to quit using my crawler altogether because
you're getting caught under the wheels?
Here's a story. Yeah, I got my hair caught
exactly
in the crawler, and I got it caught in the crawler to the point where I was like. So I'm attached to this thing and I'm like trying to edge back out from underneath the body of the vehicle. And I finally get out there and then I'm like, okay, like I can't detach from this thing. I eventually had to like stand up and pull the creeper. I'm calling it a crawler. The creeper. I
knew what you meant. Yeah.
Pull the creeper up off the ground by the hair on my head and get it, and then I could like turn it over
so you can see what you were doing.
Well, and then so I'm like walking around and having to hold the creeper directly next to my face because it is stuck there. I cannot get it, and like nothing will pull or move. So I go over and I'm like, oh, where's my scissors? And I of course couldn't find them, so I found a box cutter and I had to just like hack hair off of I left like that thick of a strip of it was like this long, but it was like a significant amount of hair.
Some hair in the process here.
Yeah, and I can after it's said and done, I can't tell where it you can't see any difference. It wasn't like I'm missing a chunk of my scalp, but that hurt really bad. That whole thing was a little bit traumatic that I was like, I might have to cut my hair because
now you know why Larry works. It's a ponytail, actually like a little bun flopped up into his cap because that keeps the hair. Like that's what you have to do. And if I think I'm ever going to be in a situation where I'm going to be dirty or anything like that, to me, a hat is almost thought of as more of a hairnet than anything because it just keeps things in place a little better.
But then I have an extra problem there where my head is pretty big on its own. So if I have my fairly big head plus you got
to get a big hat. They make big hats.
Yeah. That's I guess I just need a big enough hat to hold it in there. Because my hair's pretty my ball of hair is not small at this point, so I just need a big ass.
That's what you got to do. That's the way to protect it.
Yeah. But then it's not an ideal that particular situation isn't ideal to be wearing a hat either because you're like light deprived as it is. You're not trying to good, let me get some of this light out of my
then you got to tuck it up in a beanie then. That's your only other option in that case. Get the beanie on, tuck it up there.
A beanie could actually work there. Mm-hmm. A beanie could be the right choice.
We have a few blinks that we've used over the years that have some looser, stretchier fits than others too.
Yeah.
So there's definitely one that would work on the melon there.
Yeah.
We have some that are practically just hair nets. They don't do much besides just kind of hold everything in place. So that'd be a good way to start right there.
That did almost make me want to get a haircut then, but
now you're on the other side of it, and that's crazy.
Yeah, cooler heads prevailed. Yeah, yes. That's So now I'm not getting a haircut yet. Anyways,
okay.
I mean, other than that one self haircut, I had to give myself with a box cutter.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about, do I ever see myself getting a haircut? Could I do that? And then I'll watch a live concert on YouTube or something, and I think, no, these guys all have long hair. It's too cool. Too cool to have long hair. They can't get short hair. That's lame. It sort of feels like I'm giving in to the man when I have short hair.
It does kind of seem like that. And occasionally, has anyone ever asked you, I've had it for 4 years. It's kind of a long time, but has anyone ever said to you, what's your plan with the hair? Like, has anyone ever said that phrase to you? What's your plan with that? Because I've been asked that more than once before. What's your plan with that?
See, since I've basically had long hair since I've been an adult, though, so
I
think
that's what I mean. It's
how
been
everyone's
long
always
enough.
seen me. Because what's your plan? Is much more of a. Is this a phase? It's like people say, is this a phase, Tanner? And the reason they can say it is because they've known you on the other side of that phase. So I think that's where people are getting at there, where I've never really had, just the question I get is, are you going to have long hair forever? Like that's the main thing I get.
Yeah. And I never have an answer. I don't have an answer to what the plan is because my answer is there isn't a plan.
There is none.
Yeah. That's some people just like to watch the world burn.
While we're talking plans, what's your career plan, buddy? Maybe you should be a little more worried about that one.
Quit worried so much about the damn hair on the top of my head.
Let's hear your 5-year career plan. Where's that going?
But I actually don't know what the plan is though, too. I was 50% of the way towards like flipping a switch and just going and cutting it with scissors myself at that.
Wow.
I was, because then the other thing too, when my hair gets real dirty like that, it really brushes out like a biatch.
Oh,
and when my hair brushes out hard, that's torture, like self-mutilation, having to brush through really ratty hair.
I can't brush my hair. I literally, I can't even brush my, I don't think you're supposed to brush curly hair either though. I don't think,
I wouldn't know.
I would just rip it all out if I started.
But mine's straight as arrow.
Yeah.
So like when it's ratty, it's immediately apparent.
And that's what I have to, for me, like the brushing is like conditioner time in the shower when you can work through all of it. And that's where I get all the knots out. And if let's say I don't know, let's say I don't shower one day and then the next day I go to the gym and then I shower, but I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to wash my hair. So I put my hair up and then the next day I'm washing my hair for the first time in 3 days. Oh my God. I get done. I think I just ripped out.
It's a chore.
I just ripped out all of my hair. How do I even have hair left? I just ripped it all out because for 3 days, it's just been up in a bun, rolled around, ripped out, bun, rolled around, ripped out. Like it's just constantly getting messed up. And I don't even know how there's anything left there.
Yeah. I'll be brushing it and I'll get mad and I'm like, all right, I'll show you fucking hair. And I'll just be like, I don't even care how much it hurts. I'm going to just rip through this shit.
There's some spots though for you. Is there some spots where it doesn't hurt at all? And you're like, I could brush this as hard as I want.
Yeah.
And then there's other spots where it does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There is. Yes. It's hair update.
I like that.
Instant memes. For Keith. Is that a crawler in my hair?
I actually almost spit out my water loose. Yeah.
Those casters on that creeper really were not messing around too. And actually, it took me a while even after I got my head detached.
In my hair, crawler.
I think I was thinking creepy crawlers.
I totally knew what you meant though when you said it. I didn't think twice about it. Yeah.
I said it 4 times before. I'm like, wait, let's even after I detached my head from the creeper, it took me a while when I'm not attached to it, just trying to get that chunk of hair out of there. When it was
all cut
not
up.
detached. Yeah, it was very challenging to get that out of there. But I almost threw it in the garbage after that incident because it really soured me on the creeper.
It's the stuff nightmares are made of.
Yeah, really soured. I'm soured on the creeper.
You can't leave that hair in the creeper forever either. That's just gross.
Well, I thought about it, and I'm like, I guess I'm the only person that will ever use this, so no one's going to get too grossed out by it. But it almost looked like a crime scene that was such an amount of hair there that it wasn't like a few strands of hair. Mm-hmm. That had gotten caught up in it.
That happened here. There's DNA all over the scene.
Yes. Okay. Anything else we want to touch on this week here? Should we bring this one home, Johnny Holmes?
I think we could bring this one on home.
Judd Hughes played in Western Northeast South Dakota this weekend. Shout out Judd Hughes. Massenomics Cult Classic Judd Hughes. I'm going to fill you guys all in on a little someone else that we're going to be seeing here at the Arnold this week.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. we ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. Since 1995, Swisslink has been importing military-issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Swisslink.com is home to the authentic Wavian fuel cans. They're from the same factory that has been making jerry cans for the NATO forces since 1940s. They're made from 0.9 millimeters of cold-rolled steel, and Wavians are the highest quality gas cans on the market. Swisslink, Big Mo himself, has decided that Swisslink was also in need of a high-quality water can as well, so Swisslink developed the stainless steel Wavian water can to match. It fits all your Wavian jerry can holders and is made from food-grade 304 stainless steel, so you can trust it to carry your drinking water. This is another addition to Swisslink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at Swisslink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's code MASS to save 15% at Swisslink.com. Thank you, Swisslink.
Awesome. Quick update. Big Keith asked if there's a home gym con update. No, there is not a home gym con update. We're still waiting on some moving pieces. It's definitely possible, but that's all we could say at this point in time. We're got some things going in some other people's hands right now, so we're just waiting. We're just playing the waiting game. Yep. So we will see. Make sure to buy one of our camo windbreakers. I don't know if you noticed, but
that's funny you had that on because I was wearing mine today too.
It was a perfect camo windbreaker kind of day, wasn't it?
It was. I wore it to the gym. Maybe that's why I had such a good workout, is because I wore it to the gym.
Camo windbreaker. I tell you what, it is. It might be one of the most underrated pieces of clothing we sell in our store right now, and I mean that genuinely.
I 100% agree.
What can you think of anything that's more that you feel like is more underrated than this? I'm a big fan of our long sleeve pocket tee.
But for sale right now, no, nothing. I mean, the long sleeve pocket tee sold well enough. It
sold pretty decent. It probably actually sold appropriately. This is this is underrated in terms of it never really sold the way I thought it would, and it's this.
It's a great product.
Keith asked us something that we sell that's overrated. That I think is overrated.
No, nothing we sell is overrated. That's a trick question.
Would never be. I mean, it would just be some T-shirt that we came up with 6 years ago that we still sell a whole bunch of them because they lose their luster for me a little bit at a certain point.
Right. There's less excitement on those.
But underrated is absolutely this. Okay. Tommy, do we bring this one in for a landing? Is there anything else? We're not going to do overrated, underrated this week because it's our podcast and we just do whatever the hell we want.
Mm-hmm.
We don't cut our hair when they tell us to. We don't read overrated, underrated when they tell us to, and we cheer for the Chiefs when they tell us not to. Damn it, because we're
contrarians.
We don't play by society's rules.
Just do the opposite of what society wants us to do.
Haircuts and
we don't shower. We don't go to work on time.
You tell us to jump, we say fuck off. All right, Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk. I'm going to get that on a bumper sticker someday.
You say jump, I say fuck off.
You can follow me at Tomahawk_D.
I don't want to sprain an ankle. You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.